Now, who is the cultural competence training for? I think cultural competence training is for everyone. To clarify, cultural competence references intercultural principles. These principles help explore the thoughts, feelings, and the assumptions evoked in the course of our relationships with each other. Now, relationships are crucial in mental health professional interactions. For example, what thoughts, assumptions emerge in interactions between people of different genders, class positions, sexual orientations, cultures, and racial identities. And how does this work out even within so-called same communities? The cultural competence workshop would facilitate explorations of our relationships, which I think will be useful to the therapist, to the clinical supervisor, to the nurse, the support worker, the medical doctor, the director, to the CEO, the administrator, and the social worker. It's for everybody. Now, what will people gain from a cultural competence workshop? I think as professionals, a helpful starting point is the adoption of the position of knowing and not knowing. You see, this is important as this enables a flexible listening attitude, being less defensive. And a workshop of the kind that we're talking about can help professionals connect with areas of bias, our unexplored positions of privilege, of power, of shame, where we feel marginalized and of feeling discriminated against, and of how privilege and oppression can intersect and operate in the same person. How do these positions manifest and impact us in the work that we do with our clients and with our colleagues? The aim in having these workshops is to increase our awareness and to have a plan of action to take back to our workplaces. And more importantly, a realization of how these biases, our values, our positions can crystallize into policies and organizational cultures and structures which can be advantageous to some groups and detrimental to others. That's what we're going to be looking at. What do we explore in the training, in the workshop? The workshop is a combination of reflective processes and a bit of, if you like, teaching. It explores facets of what we as individuals bring to work, the languages we speak, our ideas of family, of respect, of elders, of marriage, of partnerships, education. For example, how do I approach and feel about the language I'm speaking now, which is English? I have a history with English. It has colonial roots. Would you, in interacting with me, think about the other languages that I might speak? Are those languages valued? And what about the false notion of race leading to racism? How has that shaped us? Are there assumptions about whiteness? Perhaps seeing white people as one group, of black people being one community, that there's a black person who speaks for all black people. Now, the workshop creates a safe enough space, I think, for explorations around racial identity development processes to be had. The other area to really consider is our external realities. How our external realities impact on our internal worlds. They're constantly interacting. Our external realities are constantly interacting with our internal worlds. An example of an external reality is the war in Europe. Russia invading Ukraine, and perhaps wars in other parts of the world. How do these external realities impact our internal psyches? Think about the cost of living crisis, the ongoing separation of the UK from Europe, the violent murders of women by men, Sabina Nesta and Sarah Everard, child Q, for example. How do these things impact colleagues, the clients we see? I think these issues are important and are therefore some of what we explore in the workshops. How about professionals getting support? That's an area of supervision. How does supervision take account of the cultural, racial, and intersecting realities of a professional and their client? Is supervision culturally competent? This is another area, an important area of exploration and discussion, and case examples are introduced in the workshop to bring alive some of the concepts that we're going to be talking about and exploring. Is the cultural competence workshop necessary? I think it is, because we live in a diverse world. However, it can be easy for us to sort of identify with certain ideologies and systems which can take control of the way we see our worlds. And these ideologies can result in the lived experience of clients and some colleagues who are in the minority to be ignored. This can be damaging and inhumane. It is everyone's business to take these seriously, to be able to sit in spaces where such conversations occur, so that we can build, if you like, a colleague uses this phrase, good emotional muscles to tackle systems representing anti-blackness, heteropatriarchy, the afterlife of colonialism and slavery operating in our practices and our organizations.